All right, moving on. This will be our first game of the week between two undefeated teams. The Kansas City Chiefs off a thrilling comeback. By the way, not just any comeback. That was the greatest comeback in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs, coming down 3 scores to beat the Chargers, rip the Chargers' hearts out, and now they travel to Houston to face the Texans, who, almost as if they want to will me to some sandwiches. They turned Lamar Miller into a workhorse that he's never been, and he mostly responded, and the offense looked okay. Greg, now they get the Chiefs in their building. Are they going to get to 2-0, you think?
I do think that they'll win this game, and I do wonder how tough a matchup this is. We think of the Chiefs' defense. We think they're great. They did not play great in Week 1 overall, I would say, and they are missing some of their best players. So I want to see. It's a team that's responded. But I'm excited to watch it because the Texans, more than any team, are more fun to watch this year than they were a year ago.
Talk about your team of ATL sleepers right here.
Yes,
They've
they
got
are.
Lamar Miller for Dan. They've got Will Fuller for Mark. They've got Jadeveon Clowney in for Greg.
That's true. It was
We like Bill O'Brien.
It was a strong week for Jadeveon Clowney Nation. I mean, he was looking good last week, and they're aggressive. I want to see what Osweiler does when he's so aggressive against a better defense, because I think the Bears ultimately.
I have a question. How did J.J. Watt look when you guys looked at tape?
He
looked like a
J.J. Watt.
non-factor.
I think he needs another week.
Which is never the case.
Right. He's not himself, clearly.
He's never come off this many surgeries in the offseason, too. I mean, it's the
that's what I
fact that he
mean.
was out there at all was pretty remarkable.
Right, it's something to watch. Is this going to last a month? Is it going to last no more
he
time at all? Is it going to
could have
last
3
half a
sacks this
season?
week.
Well,
But he's still going to cause, offenses to have to pay attention to him and think about him. So that's an asset in itself.
With J.J. Watt at way less than peak form, the Texans were in Jay Cutler's mug the entire second half.
A little pop quiz. Who is the defensive player of the week in the AFC this week?
Whitney Merciless?
Whitney Merciless. I mean, when you have guys like Whitney Merciless and Bernardrick McKinney showing up as your 2 best defensive players, then suddenly you start thinking, man, this Texans defense is deep.
In a major upset, when I went to watch Game Pass, the Texans were the most fun team to watch.
Whoa.
They left a lot of yards and points on the field in this game. This should have been a blowout. Will Fuller missed a pass over the middle that was a perfect throw from Brock Osweiler. DeAndre Hopkins dropped a touchdown in tight coverage. This could have been a 35-14 game or something.
I think that's another example of, you're talking about a quarterback and receivers that have never been in a real game together. It's going to take time. Will Fuller, he's going to give you those drops. We knew that about him. But he made up for it, too. I think he is a fascinating player. And you want to talk about one game from last year where you take the game tape and just burn it and throw it out a window. It's that wild card game. This is a completely different operation, and the Chiefs are going to have a lot more to deal with. You're not going to have Brian Hoyer throwing to, Nuke Hopkins and nobody else. This is a much more interesting offense at this point with weapons.
Come around a little bit on Brock Osweiler?
I am.
I want to see him against other teams. I think if you own DeAndre Hopkins or Fuller, you got to like that he's not afraid to just let them make a play. Like, they can be covered, and he throws it to him, which is a really good sign.
Yeah, he'll test it downfield.
He's going to try to make throws in tight windows. He does have a long delivery, which could come back to haunt him. But I think if you're a Texans fan, you have to love what you saw out of Osweiler.
And everything we said about Alex Smith and the Chiefs' offense took them some time to get going. But the reality is they made the biggest comeback in team history. So all the good things we thought about the Chiefs' offense and Spencer Ware, they came through. This is a much, much tougher test for the Texans.
When did they trade Jamal Charles? I'm not kidding, because it's like you could get a lot for Jamal Charles, and your offense statistically has been much better without him.
Well, I would be a little, if we were honestly talking about a trade, I'd be a little bit nervous why he's not playing right now, coming off his second knee injury, and he's almost 30 years old.
The other team would have to probably be, snowed under with some, pills and alcohol.
Call up.
We'll watch for that.
Let's see if the Chiefs pass rush shows up this week. They didn't show up last week.
I'm now making an eternal list of the GMs and owners that would be most likely to be snowed under with illicit
I wouldn't verbalize those.
I thought of one immediately, but I'm just going to keep it to myself.
Very smart.